May 2015, from the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia. It was WWE's Raw. And we had some singles competition between Dolph Ziggler and Stardust. And Ziggler was all stitched up above his right eye as he had been busted open, giving a headbutt to Sheamus at Payback. So he had the scar there. And he was going against Stardust. He made short work of Stardust, finished him off with a Zig Zag, as he was being very protective of his eye. And so then after the match, Michael Cole interviewed Dolph Ziggler, and he revealed him to be the sixth man that will be in the Elimination Chamber. As we already saw, they added Sheamus and Rusev earlier on, and then they added R-Truth, Rusev, and King Barrett. So we had Ryback, Sheamus, Rusev, King Barrett, and R-Truth, and the sixth man, Dolph Ziggler, competing for that Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber. But then Lana made her way out to the ring, and so then Lana took a look at Dolph Ziggler, and then she kissed him. They kissed again, and then here comes Rusev. So Rusev comes out, he started beating up on Dolph Ziggler, and so he was laid out. Then he confronted Lana. Lana slapped Rusev across the face. Rusev then became infuriated, and it looked like he was going for Lana, but then here comes Dolph Ziggler as he nails him with the Zig Zag and takes out Rusev. And then Dolph Ziggler and Lana would leave together. So Dolph Ziggler and Lana are now together, and Rusev and Lana are no more. And of course, Dolph Ziggler got the victory over Stardust. Is how this whole thing started. And you know what? I mean, it was a quick match there between Dolph Ziggler and Stardust. Not much action. I mean, it was almost kind of like the only reason they had the match was just to have a reason for Dolph to be out there so that way Lana could come out there. Because, I mean, with that, you know, the scar there, the stitched eye, it wasn't like he could really, you know, get too physical in the match. Although, you know, Stardust, I think, is better than that. But, hey, you know, that's how it goes. And then they had, you know, Lana come out there. And, I mean, I had already predicted that she would end up with Dolph. If you actually go back and listen to the video where I was talking about with Lana and Rusev breaking up, I said, hey, maybe she ends up with Dolph Ziggler. It was just, like, off the top of my head, the first guess, right? So, I mean, it's not like it don't make some sense, but they didn't, like, give appropriate story to it. It was like, Lana comes out there, and then it's like, what? I'm hot, you're hot, let's make out. Like, what? Like, okay. Like, can we get at least, like, they didn't say anything. There was no story development whatsoever. Like, it didn't really, like, make sense. Like, and it was something, like I said, I mean, it was the first thing that came to mind was her and Dolph. But, like, could we have some build, any build, even a freaking line? Could he say something to her? Could she say something to him that somehow explains why they're all of a sudden making out? You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, I know, yeah, sometimes in life, you know, it's a thing that happens where you end up, you know, kissing somebody and not even saying words. It's happened to me once before. I'm sure it's happened to some people. I'm sure it happens to Dolph Ziggler on a daily basis. Looking the way he does, right? Or Lana looking the way she does. But, I mean, it's kind of like, geez, can you give us some kind of story here? You know what I mean? Like I said, I know that, like, yeah, you know, sometimes that kind of thing happens. You know, it's kind of rare, but, you know, it happens once in a while. You know, depending on extenuating circumstances, but it's, like I said, it's not like a normal thing. Like, normal people don't just go around just looking at each other and then kissing each other. Like, that doesn't happen. Like I said, I mean, in extenuating circumstances, sometimes those things do happen, but there's usually, like, a lot of extenuating circumstances around it that would lead to something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're drunk or friggin' you're at the beach, you're at a party or something, like, not that you're just, like, in the ring after a match, even though, I mean, how would you compare that to what? It's, you know what I mean? Because it's not an everyday experience, and yes, these aren't everyday people, they are superstars, but I still thought they should have had something, like, he should have said something, or she should have said something, not just like, hey, I'm hot, you're hot, this is totally superficial, we're just a couple hot people. Like, really? That's it? Like, not that, I mean, it would have been alright otherwise. Like I said, I mean, all it would have took was one friggin' sentence from either Lana or Dolph. That's all. Like, you know what I mean? Come on. or a backstage little thing, something. But I mean, yeah, whatever, That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But yeah, Rusev came out there. I thought otherwise. Like when Rusev came out, it made more sense, and Rusev did an excellent job too. Like he is a good actor, I'll tell you what. He looked so mad, like it was crazy. He actually was selling the whole thing better than Dolph, really. Like I do like Dolph Ziggler, don't get me wrong, and everything, and actually him being announced in the Elimination Chamber now that Lana is with him, it looks like they're finally gonna give Dolph his push. Put the belt back on him, the IC belt, and then, have him be in the spotlight. So, but then again, maybe it ends up on Sheamus, and who knows? I mean, there are 4 other competitors in that match as well, and Rusev is one of them. So, be interesting to see how this develops. Moving on is you probably end up seeing, obviously Rusev and Dolph Ziggler feuding. And that was the thing I was wondering earlier too, like where does Rusev go from here? Well, we know now where he goes. He's going to be feuding with Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler, now he's going to have to deal with Sheamus and Rusev. He just made his troubles even greater. So he's got 99 problems, but Lana is or isn't one. I'm not sure, because maybe not. Well, we shall see. But let me know what you thought about this segment, what you thought about the match between Stardust and Dolph Ziggler. What do you think about Lana and Dolph Ziggler hooking up? And then what do you think about Rusev coming out afterwards? Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated.